Mr. Adnan is from Iraq, a little older gentleman, around 65, came to us with the history of having headaches, some visual problems, some memory disturbances, and difficulty in walking, and an imbalance during walking. And these were his main problems. And a scan was done which showed that he had a large brain tumor in the middle of his brain almost, which was causing a compression of the ventricular system, causing hydrocephalus. Now, when he came to us, he had been seen by many doctors who had advised surgery for this tumor, but we spoke to him and counseled him about the benefits of surgery, the risks of surgery, and they were convinced and had the surgery here. In this sort of surgery, it requires an experience because it is not on the surface of the brain but deep in the brain, and therefore you require the expertise and the experience to do this sort of a surgery. The first stage of the whole management was done by doing what is called a shunt procedure, where a small tube was put to drain the excess fluid from the brain which had accumulated because of the tumor, and this was drained into his abdomen. And this was a small procedure which was done to reduce the pressure in the brain caused by the tumor. 3-4 days after this procedure was done, he underwent the main procedure, which was which had with it the opening of the skull. This was a small opening which was done. The tumor was actually in the center of the brain, like I told you, and therefore we had to approach it from the back of the head. So the back of the head here, and this is where we had approached it from. And when we approached the tumor, we just removed a part of the skull, like opening the box, and then we had to very carefully go under the brain, and without pulling or pushing the normal brain structures, and we had to reach the tumor. The tumor was at a depth of about 8 centimeters, and we had only a gap of about 1.5 centimeters in which we needed to work and remove this tumor. And this tumor surgery went on for about 9 hours. It was removed in small pieces, and that's how it is done, using a microscope with high magnification, so that every small detail, every small blood vessel is seen very clearly. The nerves are seen very clearly. The normal brain is not touched or affected, and you give the best to the patient in this way. And the tumor was removed completely, and he made an excellent recovery. And as you can see, the patient is ready to go home back to Iraq. He's walking, he does not have headaches, he's feeling better, his memory is back. He had a problem of having to go urgently to the toilet whenever he needed to, which is not there now, and therefore he has made a remarkable recovery, and his quality of life has improved remarkably. And this is all possible nowadays with minimal risk. Yes, it's a major serious surgery, but it can be done with minimal risks. So the surgery was done by making an opening like this, and the bone here was removed so that we could go along this plane just under the brain and reach into almost the center of the head. This is an example of how microsurgery is done for the brain. In microsurgery, what we do is we use something like a magnifying glass to improve the magnification and vision by about 15-20 times, and that increases the illumination, and therefore very precise surgery can be done. That does not mean we do not make an incision or a scar or a cut on the skin, because unless we make an incision or a cut, we cannot remove a piece of the bone underneath to enter the skull. The skull is a very hard bone which is there to protect the brain, and we have to make an opening in the skull to go and operate in the brain. This is completely different from the popular terms of pinhole or keyhole surgery. This is the gold standard for brain surgery, and this is what needs to be done, and this is minimally invasive to the brain, though you may have a larger skin incision, but this is what is really minimally invasive to the brain, because at the end of the day we want a good patient who is good and is improved in his quality of life after surgery.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. علي تركي راشد من دولة العراق. معاي المريض عمي عدنان راشد أيضا من دولة العراق. والله عرفنا بعد معاناة شديدة، يعني عرفنا آخر 3 شهور بتحليل رنين عرفنا بأنه عنده مرض ضد ورم بالدماغ. اي فرحنا على دكاترة في العراق عدة ومستشفيات، فاختارينا دولة الهند. يعني المرض كان عنده كلش يعني مؤذيه بالمشي بالنوم بالاضرار مالته ايضا كله متقطع، هاي كلها اعراض عنده، المشي ماله قل، الذاكره قلت. اي فاحنا اتجهنا الى دوله الهند وخصوصا الى الدكتور كي شرايدر. اخترت الهند كوجه للعلاج لان خدماتها متطوره ودكاترتها بروفيسوريه ايضا، ويحتنون بالمريض بشكل يعني خاص وشكل يعني جيد جدا. جلوبال معلومات بعد يعني معلومات عن جماعة المعلومات بأنه دكتور عبقري ودكتور بروفيسور بهالعمليات هذا وخاصة بهالمرض هذا. يعني حقيقة أنا اطلعت على عدة مواقع المستشفيات في الهند. بعد اطلاعي عليهن اخترت مستشفى جلوبال، لأن أول وحدة من حيث السعر، الأسعار بالمستشفى منخفضة يعني، العناية به يعني كلش جيد جدا، والدكاترة أيضا كلش جيدين، وخدماته كلش جيدة يعني. والله قبل العملية كان عنده ألم شديد في الرأس وفي المشي وفي الإضرار، يعني كل هذه كانت موجودة عنده، ولكن بعد العملية الحمد لله بدأ الألم يروح والتحسن يعني إن شاء الله، وصحته بدأت تتحسن أكثر وأكثر إن شاء الله. بعد لقائي بالدكتور كي شرايدر وصل لي الحالة المرضية للمريض هو عدنان راشد اللي هو عمي. العملية قال لي تستغرق بالحدود 10 ساعات، وراح نرفع الجزء أكبر من الورم اللي موجود في الدماغ، وبعد العملية يعني قال لي أعراض إن شاء الله يتحسن، والعملية تمت بنجاح 100% والحمد لله. والله الخدمات اللي داخل المستشفى جيدة جدا، يعني خدمات متواصلة، الغرف كلش نظيفة، خدمة خلال 24 ساعة يعني يخدمون المريض وماكو أي إشكالات بها، يعني خدمة ممتازة يعني. الأكل كله زين على حسب الطلب، يعني شو تريد يجيبون لك الأكل اللي تطلبه. والله حاليا أنا بالمستشفى وجتني عدة اتصالات يعني، واتصلت بالعراق يعني أخبرتهم عن الخدمات اللي موجودة اللي هي في مستشفى جلوبال، الخدمات اللي جيدة جدا، ونصحتهم أن يأتوا إلى مستشفى جلوبال. زين، وأنا لحد الآن بعد بالمستشفى واتصالاتي بالعراق، لأن شفت الشيء الزين واللطيف اللي هو بالمستشفى، من كادر إلى يعني شو أقول لك، من دكاترة إلى مترجمين إلى الخدم إلى الناس كل واحد بهم يعني. إيه خدمات جيدة جدا. والله لفت انتباه العناية المركزة يعني كلش بالمريض، عناية، والعناية اللي تركيز على المريض بشكل جدا، يعني هاي خدمة اللي يدونها المريض لفتت انتباهي بشكل يعني مو اقول لك يعني قدام الكاميرا ولا هاي، يعني هاي شيء راح انا اشرب اي مكان من اروح البلدي، يعني خدمة المستشفى كلش متطورة جدا. والله اقدم كلمة شكر الى الدكتور الاستاذ اللي بروفيسور كي شرايدر على وقفته وعنايته بالمريض اللي انا جيت من هناك اللي نامت عني عليه من العراق، واشكره جزيل الشكر لان وقف لنا ونجح لنا عمليه طمعني يعني قبل العمليه انا صراحه يعني، فاشكره جزيل الشكر، يعني اشكره شكر جزيل هواي على اهتمامه بنا وعنايته ونجاح العمليه اللي طمنا عليها الحمد لله والشكر، فاتمنى له الموفقيه ان شاء الله واشكره جزيل